Johnny Gonzalez has been in the goat business for over 20 years. His business is called the Environmental Land Management Company, but
on the card it says goats for hire because people didn't know what environmental land management did, so I had to get it out there that we rent out, or you guys can utilize our goats for fire breaks.
lately his goats have been grazing near busy roads, businesses, and underneath power lines. Yes, these goats are super cute to look at, but they're actually having a more important job here, preventing fires from starting from these power lines and getting to these nearby structures here and across the street and all around. And it's all part of a new pilot program from SDG&E.
One of the cool things that I've heard people refer to them as is four-legged lawnmowers.
Denise Menard is with SDG&E.
As those four-legged lawnmowers can get up into areas that traditional lawnmowers just can't get into.
Last month, the energy company kicked off a goat grazing pilot program in Oceanside.
One of the last things that we want at SDG&E is for our infrastructure to ever cause a fire. So the cool thing is we're letting the goats kind of go out and do their thing and doing what comes natural to them, and that's to eat the weeds.
The rented goats are taken to high-risk fire areas to clear out dry brush and keep it from growing back for longer periods of time.
That not only do they eat the weeds, but they also eat the seeds. So that's one of the benefits that people don't think about. So a lot of times we have people kind of hanging out and watching the goats do their thing, and they're eating the weeds, but they don't realize that they're also eating the seeds. So by eating the seeds, the weeds just aren't popping back up as quickly as they would if the seeds hadn't gotten eaten by the goats.
Gonzalez says goat grazing for fire abatement isn't new and keeps him busy year-round.
The goat tool, if you will, is just a reintroduction to what abatement used to be like, and reintroducing the goat to get that understory and flash fill treatment to that better degree.
But he explains that the work takes some time because weeds aren't the goat's favorite.
They start eating first the invasive plants that they're used to, the Mediterranean, Eurasian, African plants, and then after time, if we need an amount of native plant reduction, we hold them a period of time that they start to actually address it, because in our native plants, they eat last, believe it or not, and most of our fire problems are these weeds and grasses.
Although it takes a little more time, Gonzalez says goats are an organic alternative that aren't just reducing wildfire danger, but carbon emissions too.
It's a lot better than just cutting. You don't have the chaff and the duff laying around. They've literally converted it where you don't even notice it. And for the carbon aspect of it, it's all still on site. It hasn't been transported out. The nutrients are still in the soil, so the native plants, if they are to occur, have what they need. And there is no seeds. The goats remove like 99% of the seeds.
Gonzalez says once the goats are done, the land is in better shape to suppress a fire.
We want the trees and the landscape to be the fire break. This is allowing the land to be the suppression. And if it reaches this area, it'll be quenched out. If it falls into this area, it does not have a starting ignition point.
Safety concerns are sometimes raised by residents who spot them in suburban areas. But Gonzalez assures the goats don't mind this element.
These goats have been born and raised in this type of environment in these suburbs, so they're used to helicopters and sirens and police cars coming in, people screaming and other dogs barking. If we were to take the country goat here, they wouldn't be comfortable at all.
SDG&E has used Gonzalez's goats in Oceanside and Chula Vista to clear brush near power lines. The next site will be in Escondido. Upon completion, SDG&E will determine whether the pilot program is adopted and continues. Tania Thorne, KPBS News.